Welcome one and all. I'm Panda Thug, aka Nevermore, and I want to talk about Heroes of the Storm's patch for July 25th. I've been making videos on the Asmodean changes as of late, but I feel I could comment on some of the overall changes, and it may be enlightening, if not amusing as well. Tons and tons of changes in here, so let's jump right in. Alarak's basic attack damage is being increased by 10 from 140 to 150. This seems a fair change. His basic attacks have never been the core of his damage, and he's not a favorite pick right now, so I see no reason to not give him some love. What about you, me from a few days ago? Nah, I'm sure it's fine. Phoenix is receiving a small nerf to his basic attack damage from 86 to 83. A nerf to Arsenal Synergy from 175 to 150, and a buff to Mobile Offense by 5%. Hopefully with these changes, Phoenix will be balanced out. He still sees tons of play, while your Zul'jins at the Nexus go unpicked. Maybe after these changes, and the upcoming Raynor nerfs, that might change a bit. Genji nerfs, huzzah! I long for a day I no longer have to ban Genji in every game just to safely play a backline mage. Genji's Swift Strike is seeing a small nerf in damage from 215 to 205, and a reduction in the time he has to reset his dash from 2 seconds to 1.5. A similar nerf is seen in his level 20, The Dragon Becomes Me. Will this be enough? Hell no, but any nerf to Genji is a nerf I support. Okay. Hanzo is seeing a serious basic attack damage increase from 173 to 188. The radius reveal on Sonic Arrow is getting the old nerf back, as well as the uptime on Sonic Arrow, making Hanzo less able to reveal a huge area for long periods of time. They also increase the cooldown on natural agility from 25 to 30, and his level 20 lowers it an additional 5 seconds back to the previous amount if you take that talent. Overall, these are positive changes, reducing the cheese but still giving moments of power. He's still strong, as he should be, but let's hope he's not as overbearing as in the right hands he could be. Kale Foss. Flame Strike was increased from 320 to 345, and Living Bomb increased from 200 to 215. Great changes. I love Kale Foss, and while I don't consider his damage to be the problem, these are sizable buffs and will definitely be felt, especially in late game. I support this shit thoroughly. Alright, here we go. Raynor nerfs, because the PTS didn't prove enough. Raynor Raider damage reduced from 24 to 21, still very strong. Ace in the Hole, level 1, reduced from 30% to 20%. It's still the go-to talent, but now it's just a little less obvious. Behemoth Armor, health from 250 to 200. Fight or Flight, duration from 4 seconds to 3, and Unstable Compound from 3 seconds to 2.5. Now, all in all, these are actually very small nerfs to Raynor. I doubt things are going to change much. Raynor is for sure still going to truck here, as his damage was hardly touched. It's unfortunate too, because being such a binary hero, it makes him difficult to balance. But they are being very ginger here with Raynor, and it will probably take till next balance patch, hopefully, to see the real nerfs he deserves. Tracer. Basic attack damage reduced from 27 to 26, and Quantum Spike percentage health reduced from 8 to 7. Suck it. Suck all of it, you godforsaken Tracer mains. Good changes. Alright, now we come to Asmodean, and you bet your tits this is why I made the video in the first place, so here we go. Asmodean's Globe is going from 164 damage to 192 at level 1, with reduced scaling from 4% to 3%. What this means is it's a net benefit until level 17. Every level after, it is a decrease slightly. The point of this change was to help get Asmo off his ass and stacking sooner. Now, late game, this is still less damage. The longer the match goes, the worse it is. But overall, this should be a good change, especially if you struggled to get stacks before. Summon Demon Warrior attack damage from 28 to 30, periodic damage from 6 to 8, and health from 390 to 435. So Push Modan was a distant memory since last patch, and it looks like Blizz wants our pushing abilities and talents to be less dogshit. I said in my previous video that the demons, specifically Lieutenant, needed some love. Here it is. Is it enough? We shall see. All Shall Burn, cooldown from 8 seconds to 6. Mana cost increased from 30 to 40. Periodic damage reduced by 4, but final damage increased from 272 to 320. The lower cooldown is nice. They're doubling down on the reward for full channeling by shifting more of its damage to the end. So this will help with Asmodan's ability to 1v1 for sure, but it remains to be seen if All Shall Burn build can be viable. Demon Lieutenant attack damage from 27 to 41, and health from 548 to 593. Wait a second, Blizz. You actually had Lieutenant's damage lower than Summoned Demon Warrior? Jesus Christ, Blizz, are you fucking blind? This demon was on a 60-second cooldown, and it wasn't hitting harder than the supposedly weaker demon on a 10-second cooldown? Wow. Demonic Invasion duration increased from 8 seconds to 10. Final explosion damage from 65 to a whopping 97.5. And weapon range increased from 0.75 to 1. So since the release of the Asmo rework, this ult has sucked a fat donkey turd. And that's saying something because it competes with the wet noodle that is Titus Sin. So the numbers sure need to be tested, but I don't have my hopes up. I never was a fan of this ult, but maybe it's worthwhile now. I'd rather see it competitive than the garbage it was, for sure. That's here. Level 1 Wrath had its duration reduced from 4 to 3, right? Yeah. I read that backwards. May have been a little generous. That's fine. Wrath is still super strong, in my opinion. Hellforged Armor at 4 saw its armor bonus reduced by 5, probably to offset the free HP they're giving the Asmo minions. Okay. Meanwhile, Battleborn sees a hefty buff and cooldown reduction per attack. Still unlikely to be picked by me by virtue of how it functions. So there you go. But whatever. Art of Chaos was changed to hit 2 or more targets, gain 30 mana, and 4 annihilation. This is way better than the previous iteration. It's significantly better. And I still prefer Bombardment. So get wrecked, Blizz. Brutish Vanguard at 13 sees a buff for Lieutenant, which is nice. Chain of Command likewise sees a small buff to Lieutenant via Smite cooldown reduction. I find it funny that this is what Blizzard wanted to get away from for Globe, but now making it a problem for Asmodan's ability to push. Lieutenant sucks without talents now, but he becomes okay again at 13. It's bizarre. So at 16, Hell Rift boosts Demon Warrior damage by an additional 2 seconds, 50% increase in uptime, not including the lowered cooldown for All Shall Burn. A full push build Asmo might actually be something to worry about again, which could be cool. I prefer Globe, but I like the option being there. And finally, Pride at level 20 sees an additional 25 damage for Globe. You know, I said in the previous video how Pride was weak and they could buff it, and it takes them nerfing Globe's late game damage to buff Pride, and even then they barely do. It's nice, and it could have been 50. Come on, Blizz. So that's Asmo. Good changes. Ones they didn't need to wait for. The data was in when this shit hit the PTS. You know? Come on, guys. Come on. Murky and Sergeant Hammer get the nerf bat next. In Murky's case, in some situations he was simply unkillable. I've run into this myself. And that's retarded. It's insane. It had to have been addressed, and much sooner than this. As for Sergeant Hammer, he's been killing cores for years, and only now is he seeing this being bullshit addressed. Like, both of these are great changes, and good for the quality of the game. And it's stupid we had to wait this long to see them. But I'm happy they're here. Here we go. Blizzard decided to put on their mittens and lightly tap Deckard with a nerf. He's still going to be a powerhouse of CC and healing, but toning down his main potions and hitting his level 13 with a small nerf, in their minds, should even him out. Don't be fooled. He's still very strong. Malfurion, on the other hand, sees a serious nerf. Ice Block is gone, which is good. It doesn't make sense for a Druid Malfurion to use the same Ice Block as someone like Jaina, and it allowed higher level players to bait encounters with poor positioning, only to end Ice Block with a disgusting Twilight Root combo. It wasn't healthy for Malf players, and while most are sad it's gone, I'm happy. He can now be balanced around not having it as an option. Nature's Swiftness was moved from 1 to 13, and buffed from 4% to 6%, and in its place, at level 1, Malf has a new talent that gives him a small amount of of regen per regrowth active on targets. Meh. So, on Artanis. So I haven't played Artanis in a long time, but I still have a basic understanding of him. He's a backline bruiser who sustains himself via auto attacks and can displace opponents at the cost of his positioning. That being said, I'm just going to gloss over the Artanis changes because to me, they all pretty much look like buffs. Besides, this video is getting to be a little bit long as it is. I hope to see more of Artanis. He's a higher skill cap warrior who's very risk-reward, but more fun to play against than he is frustrating. I hope to see him more and less of Sonya and Urel for a change. Doom, doom, doom. Blaze has a larger model, making him easier to hit, and his passive was nerfed to only reduce the cooldown of basic abilities. Not sure I was seeing terribly much of him, or that this was the nerf he needed, but why not? Cho no longer has Unstoppable, which makes sense. Blizz has been trying to remove Unstoppable for a long time. Just ask Mura and Anubarak. Cho just sort of slipped under the radar. Diablo. Lightning Breath is having its slow amount reduced from 50% to 40%, and each stack lowered from 5% to 4%. Same time to stack, just less slow, which, let's see here. Nope. No, that looks like a good change to me. How is Lightning Breath slowing it again anyway? Moving on. Urel nerfs, combined with Urel buffs. She still looks strong to me, but time will tell. As I'm not a Urel player, I've heard her sustain is the issue, and it doesn't really look to be touched on here. But oh well. Merely her team fighting ability, which I never found all that scary. So, weird changes. And she's probably still going to be an issue for solo lane. Tough titty there. And then bug fixes. Who cares? So, thanks for tuning in, folks. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel, where I'll be pumping out more content regularly. You can also catch me on Twitch if you like, where I stream daily. Take care, and as always, see you in queue. Later.